Kpro Cow Powwow. Kpro Cow Powwow wow. It's the Kpro Cow Powwow wow. They wanna find the treasure, they wanna find it now. They are Kpro and they are cow. They're going over it and over it and over it again. This treasure hunt created by Forrest Fenn. Sing it! Kpro Cow Powwow. Kpro Cow Powwow wow. It's the Kpro Cow Powwow. Marion and Indy are what they're like, although their real names are Christy and Mike. Can they pin down the treasure? They just might. Tune in to find out Monday nights. Kpro Cow Powwow. Kpro Cow Powwow wow. It's the Kpro Cow Powwow.
Coronavirus.
Okay, everybody, it's Monday night. It's the Kpro Cow Powwow. And the coronavirus lockdown continues at day 309, somewhere around there. It seems like we've all been home a very long time. So what a better time than to talk about the word that is key. So how's everybody doing? How you doing, Kpro?
I'm doing good. I'm surviving coronavirus.
That's right.
Yep. So, yeah, hanging in there, doing things. But we've been playing so much poker and doing all that crazy stuff. We decided we're going to focus on content because Mike has a philosophy.
Yeah, what's that philosophy?
And at least we're going to start with that. And then we will do some roundup on what you guys think of the first round of poker. Forrest Fenn won. That makes it so funny. But we also want to talk a few other things. There's a new scrapbook out, and I believe that is Sturmworm's story. And then Forrest's response. I don't think we'll get that far tonight because we already have this kind of prepped up, teed up. I don't think anything Mike's saying, if you guys are here to go, oh my gosh, it's going to be groundbreaking, break the
Are you saying it's not breaking news? Is that what
I just think it's interesting. It's fun. I gave out the paper town yesterday. I want to talk a little bit more about that if we have time.
Paper Town's an interesting one, and thanks to who told us that originally.
I know who, but I don't know if the person wants to be named out, but said it in front of 10 other searchers. So
yeah, I don't think it's a big deal. Okay, so, and you know the word that's key. We could spend hours and hours on this. But before we start, I will remind people, Super Chat's on. Give the video a thumbs up for Forrest Fenn. Thrill the Chase discussion. Hey, Cynthia, she's in the house. And a couple people, I think maybe two people have emailed me and said, I thought Justin was going to give his solve. What happened? Well, Justin had to cancel. So I'm going to put it out right now. Justin, if you want to come on Thursday's show, reach out to me and Kpro and let us know. We were going to reschedule that because he had to cancel. So he is still going to come on. At least we want him to still come on and give up his solution. You know, we want him to give it up. So it's something he said he spent 3 years on. So he will be back on a future show to be determined.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you get the clip ready?
What clip? No, then apparently not. Oh, no, I didn't. So we're not going to be able to show a new clip tonight because.
Okay. I thought it specifically related to what we had tonight. So, Holly, you need to know that I tried to get Mike to play a clip. Oh, the tides are turned. Now, you used to just play him like popcorn, and now he's.
Yeah, I didn't have time, guys.
Okay.
Cowlazars, you have a philosophy. Get it? Philosophy. That's pretty funny. Okay, so yeah, there is, okay, first off, let's talk about the word that is key. In 2014, Forrest is when made the statement. A few searchers are giving serious thought with a word. And you know what? How about I look it up and not guess, unless you can remember what it is, Kpro?
I would get one word wrong and it'll piss off somebody in the room, so we don't want that.
Yeah, so let me look it up, and that way.
Okay, let me ask you a question before we get started. Do you believe the word that is key and the key word are one and the same?
Yes, that's exact. It's just a different way of saying the same thing. Everybody wants to try and split hairs and say he didn't say keyword. You're right, he didn't. Whether you call it a keyword or whether you call it a word that's key, in my opinion, and I'm assuming Kpro's, but she can speak to her for herself. All it means is there's a word we should focus on that helps us in the poem. That's all.
Yep.
In our interview, which I was even thought of playing that clip over again, but I don't have that one either. We got Forrest to admit, if anything, we got him to admit that there is a word in the poem that will help you more than the others. Now, some people say, but he didn't say that's the word that's key. But what else is it? That's the original question that I asked him. So in our opinion, there is a word that is key in the poem. It will help you more than all others. It is in the poem. And then in our opinion, it's also a noun, but we'll get into that. So let me give you the actual quote. If there's anybody new watching, and we do know because of we do have some new people and some new searchers recently that have gotten into this thing. So let's show the quote. Many have given serious thought to the clues in the poem, but only a few are in tight focus with a word that is key. And then what's really is interesting is the next sentence says the treasure may be found sooner than I anticipated. So that right there shows me that the word that is key is important, guys. Yeah, go ahead.
You want to do the cha-ching for 9 clues?
Oh, nice. 9 clues. Thanks. We do appreciate that. I'll do better than that. How about a drop? Which I did not even have ready, but we can.
9 clues. Say no. Tell him no.
Nah, we can do.
Thank you for that.
Hey, we do appreciate it. Thank you.
And 9 clues was one of our poker players. And now that I put a face to a name.
Yeah,
awesome.
exactly. It's been cool hanging out with you in Zoom for sure.
Yeah. And I have more. Yeah, I have more to say about that. But yeah, thank you for the 1999 super chat. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we do appreciate it. Mike Wood says, "Oh my God, what did I miss about Paper Town? Please tell me." We'll get to that.
You didn't sit in the entire poker? Yeah, that's why we need to get into paper towns as well. And are you saying paper towel? It's not paper towels. It's paper towels. Oh.
So Susan Hayes does ask the question: When did Forrest make that statement? He made that statement 6 years ago. Everybody, I'm going to get you the actual date. It was on Mysterious Writings in 2014. In 2014, more questions with Forrest on mysteriouswritings.com. I'm looking it up right now.
Oh, Richard, I'm a poker loser too, except for Greg. I can beat Greg.
February 4, 2014. It is interesting to know that a great number of people are out there searching. Many are giving serious thoughts to the clues in my poem, but only a few are in tight focus with a word that is key. The treasure may be discovered sooner than I anticipated. Now, that was huge when it came out, right? Everybody said, oh, there's a word. There's something going on that we're missing. But it's been 6 years. What is the deal? Why have people not figured out what the word is? Or have they? Maybe they have. We just don't know it. Go ahead.
Let me ask you another question. He has something out there. I'm going by memory, that there's one important possibility that we're all missing. Do you think that's the key word?
Say that again. There's one possibility.
He says there is one important possibility that we're all missing.
I don't know. That could be the same, but that could be something. I don't know if that's the same or not. I don't really lean toward that being the same thing.
I don't either. I don't
lean toward that being the same thing.
Okay.
So there's a word, and we got him in our interview that we did with him and Douglas Preston. If you don't know, new searchers, or if you just forgot, we got him to admit that word is in the poem. Because in the book, I believe it says knowledge is the key. Somewhere else he said contentment is the key. And everybody has said, well, he said that's the key, right? Those are keys. But if you're talking about the poem and a word that will help you with the poem, it's in the poem. Okay, so that's kind of where we are. The word that is key to bring everybody up to speed. And in my opinion, and me and Kpro were just talking about this before we went live, if you can't figure out what the word that is key in the poem is, you can't solve the poem. And I don't think many people have ever looked at it that way before. But 6 years later, if you can't figure out what that word is and why is it the important word, in other words, what are you supposed to do with it? I don't think you have a chance of solving the poem. What do you think, Kpro?
I agree. And the reason that I agree is if he states it once, if he states something twice or 3 times, he has said tight focus, word that's key several times. He said it again in 2019. He's now confirmed it's in the poem. If he keeps, I'm going to go even a little farther. I believe it's what unlocks WWWH. That's what we should be focusing on. And WWWH is what is the area of focus.
And I agree. He said where warm waters halt is the first clue. We're just using logic, guys, to try and put together a cohesive thought process here. If where warm waters halt is the hardest clue to figure out, and he said that it is, and there's a word that's key that will help you more than the others, wouldn't it make sense that that word helps you determine where warm waters halt, where the location is that we're looking for?
Well, so let me go even further. Logical searcher. I know you're not logical searcher. Logical treasure searcher. So if everything's contiguous or consecutive in the poem, wouldn't that mean we should be focusing on stanza 1 for the key word?
Right. I agree with that as well. If you're going to begin it where warm waters halt, and there's a word in the poem that's going to help you figure out where warm waters halt, it makes sense that word that is key, that word that is more important than the others would happen before the begin it where warm waters halt line. So yes, me and Kpro have derived what we believe is that first word is in stanza number 1. Now, a lot of people have said, well, warm waters halt is the first clue. We know that to be true. So what's the first stanza there for? In other words, some people think the first stanza is the first clue. I don't, because Forrest has said there's 9 clues where warm waters halt is the first clue. But stanza 1 contains that key word, that word that you've got to figure out what it is he's talking about. And that will help you determine where you begin, where warm waters halt is.
Okay, so we have figured out there's a key word. We have figured out that the key word is in the poem. We have figured out that it needs to be in the first stanza. Now, what type of word does it need to be? Now, this varies from your interpretation. I have a different keyword than Mike does, but I actually think we could marry the two. I might be able to marry Mike's keyword to my keyword, but I do think there's only one keyword. So I think it's one of the nouns, and there are 4 nouns in, lots of papers. I think there's lots of nouns in stanza 1. There's 4 nouns in stanza 1. Treasures, which is the only 9-letter word. Secret, which is what I think the keyword is. Hint, riches, those are the other 2.
So a couple people have posted they think wise is the word that is key.
Oh, they're wrong, but yes.
That's fine. But my point is, okay, how does that help you determine anything? Yes, you have to be wise to figure out the poem. That's a true statement. If we've been wise and discovered the blaze, but how does that help you with anything? Look up all the definitions of the word wise, and I don't see how that helps us.
Well, we were talking about this in poker chat. It's the middle word, so somehow it's important then. Wise, if you look at wisdom, a town right next to one of the Nez Perce battles. It's the only battle that was part of my solve long ago.
And I guess that's a difference of
now,
how you
Cynthia is going to bring breaking news, because I did talk to Cynthia about this a few days ago. The keyword in almost every line there's a keyword in almost every line per Forrest Fenn, but I guess there's one more important than others. That is something he said to her, I believe.
All right, hang on. I have not heard this before, so say that again.
Oh.
Say that again.
We should have Cynthia on. You should send
Yeah,
her the link.
Thursday, Cynthia. If Justin doesn't come on, let's have Cynthia on.
Oh, I want her to confirm something else.
Go.
Please, Cynthia, put in here if you're willing to come on right now, because I have something to ask you, my friend. Keyword in almost every line per Forrest Fenn, but I guess there is one more important than others.
Right. And again, that goes back to if where warm waters halt is the hardest clue, wouldn't the one that helps you more than all the others be the one that relates to where warm waters halt? To me, that's just logic.
But how is there a keyword in almost every line? See, I take a keyword that relates to clues, and maybe that's wrong.
Well, but a keyword is different. In that context, a keyword might be different than a word that is key. In other words, if you've been wise and found the blaze, what's the key word? Blaze. You're looking for a blaze. That's the word that's important in that line. There'll be no paddle up your creek. It could be paddle or it could be creek. You know what I mean? There's one thing you kind of focus on, keyword.
Okay.
But to me, that's different than saying there's a word that will help you more than all the others. But again, just my thought.
Well, I like how Heavy Load says it. The word that is most important is different than the other words. So maybe there's one that's
right.
Or maybe some people have figured out brown, blaze, this, that, but they haven't figured out the one that's in stanza 1 that breaks loose. I'm really dirty and smell bad. Oh, you're so adorable. I need to an anti
No boots on the ground or
and a
what?
mask over my head to come on tonight.
Thursday, Cynthia. See if you want to come on Thursday. We could talk about what we're about to talk about tonight. And by the way,
No.
truckers is not the key word. My
Well,
key
and
word,
since
like you
Cynthia was specifically called out in a recent video on another YouTube channel by saying that she has confirmed who the 10-footer was, I wanted to see if, at least Cynthia in here.
I didn't know about
Can you
that.
confirm? Did you actually get confirmed by Forrest that there is a 10-foot searcher? And is that anyone? Let's just say any. I don't even want to call out names. Do you believe there's a 10-foot searcher? And are you the one that confirmed that? As I'm not sure anybody spoke with you, but they did put your name and information in their video.
Okay, so Cynthia, if you want to come on Thursday, you let us know. Okay, back to the word that is key.
Okay, we're staying on.
We believe it's a noun because Forrest said he looked up every noun, and some of the definitions were not. How did he put it? Some of the definitions were not what he thought they were.
Right.
Or he uses a word differently than what other people. That type thing.
Yeah, he just said like you'd be surprised some of the words.
And he's also made the comment, people don't know what the meaning of words anymore. In other words, he wants us. And what does tight focus mean, everybody? There's a word that is key. Searchers are in tight focus. Tight focus means look at the definition of the word. That's the entire point of having a word that's more important than the others. Is you know, when you figure out the definition as he intended it, that's the trick to me of this word that is key. Make sense, everybody? Good. We just solved it. Good.
Okay.
All right. I know everybody's going to have 100 different opinions on this, but thumbs up for word that is key discussion. Anyway.
Well, but here's the one cool part that I think a lot of people like hearing from you, Mike, especially because of, is your logic, your line and logic, the way that you think.
And a lot of people are, nope. When I tell you guys what I believe this word that is key is, a lot of people are like, nope, that's not it because that's not what helps my solve. Well, I'm not the I know where it is guy. I'm not the I know what state it's in. I'm going boots on the ground. I'm not that guy. I'm just trying to use logic, as I believe Forrest did. And let me.
Cynthia says she'll come on Thursday. No, she does not recall any of the 10-footer. So she'll come on, and hopefully Justin will come on too. Maybe we'll have them both on. That'll be a blast.
Right.
So we'll
I'm
see.
sending it to Forrest now because I forgot to, and I don't know if he comes on anyway. Right.
Now, are you because you do this to me all the time? I'm gonna do it to you.
right.
The email that you got earlier from Forrest today. Are you gonna share the thoughts about that?
Oh yeah. So when I came up with the blog, yeah, I will. There's nothing really important, guys, but I will let everybody know. When I was trying to come up with the thumbnail for this vlog, I took a snippet from Chase Chat, and this snippet is from 2014. You're the one that brought it up, not me.
I meant you're using a thumbnail from where?
I don't care where the thumbnail's from. The point is the thumbnail. What it is it's a quote from a searcher that said they got an email, and the email was from Forrest, and it said, I got an email. I emailed Forrest and said, is there a combination to unlock the poem? And he emailed me back and said, there's not a combination. There's a key. This is from 2014, right after he put out the word that is key statement. So I emailed it to Forrest because I use it as a thumbnail. But when this video is over, I'm going to change the thumbnail and get rid of that. I emailed it to Forrest and just said, hey, this is a person who says they got this from you in an email. Is that accurate? And he emailed me back and he said, that is not accurate. Actually, I don't even want to say what he said wrong. So let me look it up. He said, I did not say that. It is not accurate. So, again, this searcher says they got an email back from Forrest, and the person was JJ on Chase Chat. I have no idea who that is. Again, this is back in 2014, everybody. It's just a picture that I wanted to use as a placeholder for the video. That's all. Doesn't change anything Forrest has said about the word that is key. But this person said that Forrest emailed them and said, it's not a combination. You need a key. Forrest is saying, I didn't email him that. So I want to make sure that's clear. And that was it. That's all I asked Forrest, and that's all he answered. Okay.
That's how it's going to be, and that's how it's going to be, or whatever that silly one.
Right. Okay, but we believe the word that's key is a noun, just because Forrest has said I looked up every noun in the poem. He's also said every noun is important. He said almost every word is important. It's risky to discount any of them.
Yeah.
Just different things he said make us think that the word that is key, the word that's more important than the others, is in the first stanza. It helps with where warm waters halt, because that's the hardest clue, and that it's a noun. So I'm going to show what you sent me, okay, Kpro? Are we at that point to get to that? To start looking
Jack,
at the
yes. Jack is saying for the record that JJ is not him. No,
Yeah.
Jack, I don't think you're even on that. That was like the happening site many years ago, and a lot of people, like William was there, and Mike was MDC 777. Okay, pretty sure on.
And that doesn't matter. Who cares what somebody posted on Chase said? I just want to make it clear that I found that. I did a Forrest Fenn word that is key and search for images to try and pick a thumbnail. And when I saw that, I thought, oh, that's cool. But then I knew somebody would be like, Forrest didn't really say that. So I thought, you know what? You're right. Let me email Forrest and ask him. And he was nice enough to answer and say, I did not say that. So
wait. Now, Stormworm's asking something before we go on, because let's see. Pretty sure all ongoing discussion about anything should be dropped per mysterious writings. F said not to believe anything outside of his book, right? I don't remember that. So, like, if we see a recording of him, we're not supposed to believe it?
Oh, whatever. I mean, that's fine. If Sturmworm that doesn't go against
I just don't remember him saying, don't believe anything outside my book. Then we shouldn't believe 5010-2. We shouldn't believe the fourth search stick.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There's a lot of things that he said. I believe things he said. I would agree to that. Let's believe things Forrest has communicated to people one way or the other. But if Sturmworm only wants to use the book, hey, that's more power to him. That's up to him.
Yeah. And then William, what about the keyword contentment? He has said something about being content is the key or something like that. I think in life, yes. In this, no, because the word contentment is not in the poem.
And we got a super chat.
If I were Hebrew, I'd say Toda Rabba.
No idea how to say that, but thank you for that super chat, Jen. I can't see the forest for the keys. Now, remember, this is the one who came out and said this on Mysterious Writings in 2014, February 4th, I believe it was, 2014. And it's important. When he says the treasure may be found sooner than I anticipated, that's something we should be paying attention to. You know, it's important. And since then, I've just thought, I think what he's really telling us is unless you figure out this word, you're never going to solve the poem. Yeah. You're not going to figure out where warm waters halt unless you figure out this word and figure out what it means, put it that way. And we're going to go over it. We are actually going to tell you what this word is that I think it might be.
Okay. And they are right. Somebody said it's keep my secret where. I put in the wrong word. Sorry. That it's not a noun anyway. My is not a noun. So I can keep my secret. Yes, that's me. That's my mistake.
Test everybody. We just wanted to see who was paying attention.
And Greg Keller caught it. So that means that he already knows I'm a liar. For those of you that saw him blow me up on Facebook. Yeah, I'll get you back, Greg Keller.
And Chris Hurst says there's a lot of keywords in the poem. I agree. But Forrest told us there's one that's more important than the others. And that's the point. How do we figure out which is the one that's more important than the others? World famous gamers, we may take calls later. It just depends where we're at on time. Well, we may not, so we'll see. She is not a liar. And Chris Merchant has good time.
There is a difference between lying and bluffing in poker. Do I bluff all your money out of your hands? Yes, I do. And that's not lying. Copper Dan did it on Thor. He also posted the same thing about me being a liar. And I took all of his chips too. I'm sorry, boys. I like taking your chips.
Nice, Mark. He says you have 236 people waiting to correct you. That's right. When I say this word, if it doesn't pertain to your solve, you're going to say it's wrong. I get it.
Actually, it might, though, because I actually think it might pertain to my solve. I think it's a secret with your keyword.
Now, a lot of people are just picking a word and saying, I think it's wise. I think it's this. I think it's that. But how does that help you? In other words, it's got to help you solve a clue. Why would there be a word that's more important than the others if it doesn't help you solve something? My word at least helps you solve something, and that's what we're about to share here in a minute. Right? Would you agree with that, Kpro?
I do, and that's why I preferred you not to share it for a little bit, because I think it confirms something in my area, and I haven't been able to put that together yet. Right. But you were like, no, I'm putting it out to the people.
Nobody's going boots on the ground anytime soon. They shouldn't anyway with the problems that we've been having.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's like World Famous Gamer says the key word is it. But how does it help you? Yes, begin it. If you knew what it was, the poem makes sense. I agree with that. But how do you figure out what it is? You know what I mean? How does that word help you more than the others? That's the part I don't get about people that throw out different.
Your keyword can help some people.
I think it will help a lot of people. And I think that's the trick. Forrest has said where warm waters halt is the riddle. It's the trick, the whole trick of the poem.
Richard wants to know if he can tell you you're wrong now or wait until after you say it.
That's pretty good. Yeah, hey, you guys all have your opinion, and they're all valid, just like mine is, and just like Kpro's is.
And again, it's not groundbreaking. You're going to break. It's kind of like Gary stuff, where it's just something interesting. If it confirms your solve, sure. If it doesn't,
right. Well, I'm not even worried about anybody confirming their solve. Something I will say that I've never heard anybody else say before is if you don't have the word that is key and figured out what it means, the correct definition, you can't solve the poem. You can have the memory of a nice vacation, or you can stay home and play canasta, but you're not going to figure out the correct interpretation of the poem.
Okay, I think it's time to share. We're all friends here. Share away.
So me and Kpro have laid out the foundation of why we think it's a noun and why we think it's in the first poem, in the first stanza, because it helps with where warm waters halt. So what we did is Kpro was nice enough to color code the first stanza, even part of the second stanza, but that's okay. The nouns are gray right here. Nouns are gray. So what are the nouns in the first stanza? Treasures, secret, hint, and riches. If somebody thinks otherwise, please correct me and I will look it up. But this might be a little bit easier to see.
Yeah, this is from previous. That was from a previous, something else we were doing a previous thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, that is from a previous show, but it was apropos for tonight. So I've got alone in there. With my treasures, noun, bold. I can keep my secret, noun, where. And hint, noun, riches is a noun, new and old. We got a super chat from William. In the beginning, waters in the poem was singular. Okay, but again, whether it's water or waters, now could that be the key word that is key? I guess. I don't know how it helps us find the location, but I guess it could be. And when he says in the beginning, I don't know if I've ever heard that before. Have you, Kpro? That the beginning of the poem, waters was singular or plural, that it was changed. I don't think I've ever heard that before. Unless William's just guessing. But thank you for the super chat. Jan with another super chat. I searched in West Yellowstone and only found ice cream and video poker. Well, you know what?
If I were Russian, I'd say spasibo.
Those are not too bad things to find. In my
We found real poker in West Yellowstone. It was awesome. Okay.
Well, if you guys follow along with our logic here, that the word that's more important than all the others is in the first stanza. It's in the first stanza because it helps you find or define where warm waters halt. We also think it's a noun. And in the first stanza, that narrows it down to these 4 words right here: treasures, secret, hint, and riches. Now, Kpro has always thought the word is secret, right?
Yeah.
So are you saying, does that mean if you figure out what the secret is, it helps you with the poem?
I almost think the secret is the story. Like he says, there's a story. I think you have to figure out the story. Now he says you won't know the story until you find it. That might not be right. I just think there's something more that we're missing that might be alluded to in TTOTC.
Right.
But yeah, there's a secret that you have to know or figure out to be able to unlock. And I do agree with you, WWWH. You have to find the secret.
Let me do one other thing.
And somebody said I is a noun, person, place, or thing. So it's an I.
Do this. This was actually used for something else we did. We bring this up here and do this.
Yeah, William. See what William's saying. I agree with secret, but I have nothing to link it to. This is where Mike's piece could come bring those two together.
I'm just putting a line between the stanzas. That's all.
Okay.
Because we know that this is clue number 1, right? Clue number 1, if we could just figure out where warm waters halt, this physical location, this place on a map, this place we're supposed to get in our car and drive to. Just think if you could somehow know where that is, and now you've got the other 8 clues, which are not easy. I'm not saying you're going to find it in a day, but how awesome would that be that you've actually narrowed it down to this starting location? And that's what I think the first stanza does. And here we go, everybody.
Oh, sorry.
So what I did is I looked up the definition of each of these 4 words: treasure, secret, hint, and riches. And they're all pretty straightforward. Treasures is he's talking about the gold in the chest, I believe. Secret, there is a secret, but it's not a secret story. What is it? It's a secret where. He tells us I can keep my secret where. And where else is the word where in the poem, which is right here, where warm waters halt. I think it's like a play on words. I think his secret where, which he's talking about in stanza 1, is in fact where warm waters halt. I think stanza 1 is about where warm waters halt. I don't think there's a word that's duplicated like that in the poem anywhere else other than where and where. Does that make any sense at all?
Yeah, it does. I mean, there's my and my. I mean, not. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I like that.
Let me put it this way. When Forrest went to hide the treasure chest, what did he say? He made 2 trips from his car to the spot. He says in our interview, he got real lucky. He got lucky because nobody was around, right? Isn't that paraphrasing? But he said, I got lucky because nobody was around. What if the first stanza is talking about where warm waters halt? And I know some people are going to say, well, he didn't stop at warm waters halt. You put in below the home of Brown. But what if he got in his car and you have to drive to where warm waters halt? In other words, that's your starting point, possibly. I'm just throwing it out there. What if the first stanza is all about where warm waters halt? So as I, Forrest, have gone alone in there, where warm waters halt, that location, and with my treasures bold, with the treasures in the chest, I can keep my secret where, right there, he's talking about where warm waters halt, and hint of riches new and old. Now, this line's very important. Right here, he's telling us, here's the hint. I'm giving you the hint. Pay attention. And hint of riches new and old. Now, most of us, myself included, have always thought riches new and old were the treasures in the treasure chest, right? He says treasures bold, and then he says there's riches new and old. And a lot of people, I think maybe you, Kpro, have said maybe it's something that's inside the treasure chest that's a clue to help us figure out either what the it is or what the secret is. I don't know if you said that in the past. I've heard other people say
I
that.
have lots of crazy theories. That could be one.
Okay. Jack says something like that. So if you look up the word riches, I think riches is in fact the word that is key that's more important. And I'm going to bring it up right now.
Okay, this is where it kind of gets good. Let's actually look up the definition of riches.
Yeah, if you look up the word riches, put in riches definition. Let me move this over here. You guys can see that. So for some reason, my screen keeps going back to 144p. Just change it to 720. Okay. If we look up the word riches, it's material wealth, right? It is a noun, and it's material wealth. It is the treasure in the treasure chest. But there's also another definition, valuable natural resources. And it says right below it, the riches of the world's waters. If the word riches can be a valuable natural resource, it says right here, water. So what if really what this means is water? He's talking about the water and where warm waters halt. He's telling us there's a hint right here. And hint of the water, which is riches, which can mean a valuable resource like water, new and old. So to me, the word that's more important than the rest, because it helps us figure out where warm waters halt is riches, because it helps us understand that the first stanza is about where warm waters halt, the location, and it's new and old that actually helps us. What if where warm waters halt has something to do with new and old? And I guess that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah.
But
okay.
The hint...
That's as far as you're going?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of ways you can apply that.
Yes.
If you take riches and you just take it out and say, what if we just say it's another word for water? And hint of the water, new and old. What water? The secret where? The secret where warm waters halt.
So
he's talking about the water of warm waters, and that the hint is that there's a new and there's an old.
So the hint is in the water, the word water, which has characteristics that are new and old. That's how I would say that sentence.
Yeah, and you could take that different ways. If riches is supposed to be another word for water or a meaning for water, new and old is it the oldest hot spring in the Rocky Mountains? How could a water source where the warm waters are, how could there be a new and an old? And maybe that's the trick we need to figure out. But to me, it changes the first stanza a little bit. If this entire first stanza is talking about where warm waters halt, which is clue number one, and which is the hardest clue, by the way, because Forrest has said that, it just makes sense to me that
right, but we're not messing with the poem. We're kind of rewording it in our mind to see if the logic holds, which I think
Who said we're messing with the poem?
Huh?
Who said we're messing with the poem?
You just did. You said, I know I kind of changed the line there. We're not changing.
No, I didn't mean it that way. Yeah,
okay.
Go ahead. Sorry. I thought somebody in the chat said that you're messing with the poem. It's like, no, we're just looking up the meaning of words, which is what he said.
Right. Right. So
the secret where is where warm waters halt. And the hint is that the water there's something new and old about it. And that is the hint to help us try and figure out where on the 4 states is this warm water that we're supposed to look for. Then when you figure out what it is or where it is, you got to figure out where it halts, of
Okay,
course.
we got another super chat.
20.2 troy pounds in the chest, 242.2 troy ounces, which is too far to walk, 242 degrees on a compass. Now go get her done. Well, thank you for the super chat, Jan, but I don't understand that whatsoever. I just don't. I know a lot of people
I've heard that.
265
I've heard that.
coins mean something, or that I don't. I think what I just said here in stanza 1 makes a lot more sense from a treasure hunter trying.
Well, and here's something to question it to see if this holds. Milan said, according to your theory, why would Fenn say only a few, quote, have been in tight focus when he says few for a reason, meaning those who are much further than the first clue. I know what you're saying. I don't know if I make that logical leap there. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah. The only way Forrest would know if somebody is in tight focus with a word that's key is if they emailed him and told him about it, right? That's the only way he's going to know. And remember, he says, when I get emails, I look for certain keywords. He scans emails for certain keywords. So if somebody emailed him and said, yeah, I think riches really means water. So it's something about new and old water I'm looking for. He could be like, oh, wow, somebody's actually keyed into where warm waters halt. It's got something to do with this new and old that you got to look for. Treasure may be found sooner than I thought. I didn't think anybody would put it together that the first stanza is about where warm waters halt.
So,
Not
Mike,
the treasure, new and
do you
old.
know the name of that's like sitting right there right now?
What? You lost me.
So you think that the hint of riches or the hint of riches, new and old, is important? Thor, the acronym for Thor.
You said sitting right there. What do you? Oh, you pointed the wrong way. Now I get it.
Oh,
Yeah, wouldn't it be interesting that you named your forum after the one line in the poem?
How do you think I named my forum? Well, I'm just kidding.
You asked Forrest and he said hint of riches.
The hint of riches. Remember,
Yeah, but
Forrest said
William,
someone emailed
yeah.
him a picture, and that's how he knows. That's the
that's how he
original.
knows the 200.
I'm calling it the original 200 footer, and I think there's been some since then. So I'm calling it like 1.0 and then all the others. I do agree with you with the 1.0, William. I think there's been others.
Yeah, Mock Smith, I just told you, in my opinion. Of course, this is all my opinion, everybody. But what do you guys think of the theory that the first stanza is about the first clue? In other words, well, what's the first stanza for? It's about helping you find where warm waters halt. The clue not exist when I was a kid, but the places the clues refer to, old did. Yeah, again, I don't know how that helps you solve anything. Okay, I understand what you're saying, but I don't know how that helps us figure out where warm waters
Well,
halt.
what if that's the new and old part? What if it's something that the place existed, but the name of it is something related later to WWWH? So
Possibility.
it has been let me just throw it out, a geyser that is now named that 50 years ago was not named.
Yeah, okay, I got you. So there was when he was a kid, maybe there wasn't a name to it. Somewhere he played it, whatever, however he found it. Jack says I've heard worse. Not bad, Mike. All right, I'll take that. Now again, I don't think it's and Richard says I think you're wrong. I waited. I waited to hear what it was. I don't think this is really, I don't know if it's groundbreaking. In other words, you still got to figure out where warm waters halt. You still have to find that location. This doesn't break. I think people are looking for a word that somehow spells out a name of a town, tells you exactly where to go. You know, like the treasures on the poem was try the wheel. I don't think the word that's key does that. The word that's key lets you focus on something that you still have to solve. You're still going to have to figure that out.
Okay, we went from 230 now to 250. So people must like this at least to talk about. Here's the thing. If you think of your WWWH, is there something new and old about it? Maybe it was named. Maybe it is the first of something, or it is the oldest park in the area that you are in. It is the oldest something or the newest something. I don't know.
And hint of riches, new and old. Riches can be, just to recap, riches can be a water source, a valuable natural resource. Wouldn't a hot spring be a natural resource? Old Faithful is a natural resource, right?
Right. And something you can dip your toe in. There you go.
Right. We believe it is physically warm water. So what warm water is a natural resource? Any of the geysers, I guess you could say, are natural resources. But is there one that has a new and old to it that when we find it on a map or when we research it, we're like, that's the new and old. That's the hint. right here, he's telling us there's a hint of the water, new and old. So to me, it's just he's spelling it out. He's like telling it to us right here.
Now, why didn't he put and a hint?
I don't. Well, maybe because he figures new and old are two hints. It's plural. I'm hinting of whatever I want to hint to. Yeah,
I guess it's
why did he use
fair.
waters and not water and plural? Yeah, I don't know. As I've gone alone in there, and with my treasures bold. Now that even could be the treasure going to the location. That can be him actually going to the location. But then he switches it. I can keep my secret where warm waters halt is a secret. That is a secret only Forrest knows, because the people who he says solved it didn't realize it. They didn't realize where they were at. So I can keep my secret where, and at the same time, he can hint of riches new and old. The hint is that the water has got something to do with new and old. That's kind of it in a nutshell. I am interested in you guys' opinion. Please email me, cowlazars@gmail.com. I'm sure people will tell me why I'm wrong. Or maybe somebody will say that's interesting. Maybe you're right. And email me, not Kpro. Everybody emails Kpro enough.
Well, this one, I got to tell you, don't email me because, or you can, but I'll say I'm not sure what Mike was thinking. I'm not going to talk for Mike on that. I've talked a lot with Mike on this, and we actually have some different thoughts and ways to go with this. But this one's Mike, so Mike's owning it up and saying he wants to talk about this. So this is one that I think can apply to everyone's solve in a way to see if it confirms your WWWH.
And I just try and think, does it conform to things Forrest has said? Remember the person that says, somebody tells me, meet me where warm waters halt north of Santa Fe. Can I find the spot? And Forrest says, no. He goes, you oversimplify the clues. If I was going to bake a cake, I need all the ingredients or something like that. But when he says, no, you can't just say, meet me where warm waters halt, and we're supposed to know where it is, because you need the rest of the poem. And my theory is the first stanza helps you define where warm waters halt.
And we have a question about that, Holly, because I know you're in here. And we said, I asked him a question of what is the importance of stanzas 1, 5, and 6. If you have said WWWH is the first hint and Terry Scant, you already have it in your hand, then there's no hints or there's no clues in 1, 5, and 6. What are they for? And I gave Mike permission to get that together and share it today. He did not have time. He was napping.
L. Ryder says, thanks for your thoughts. I like the way you think. I don't agree, but I like it. And that's okay. You don't have to agree, everybody. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Trust me. But I don't remember what his answer was. Was it anything important? We'll have to look it up and see, because I don't remember what his answer was to that question.
It wasn't groundbreaking, whatever.
I don't remember. We're going to show it on Thursday. Is that what you're trying to say?
I don't know. Whatever. If you have time.
Yeah. Well, I thought his answer was something like, I'm not going there. I'm not talking about clues, or I'm not. In other words,
and I still need to get that list out.
But
okay. Any other questions on this before I want to get into briefly just talk about paper towns, just what we talked about yesterday. And then I like it. Holy says I can't wait until Thursday for the clip. Okay, it's already set in stone.
Belva Jenkins says where warm waters halt is the key. And I would disagree with that and say where warm waters halt is the first clue, which is seriously important. But there's a word that will help us with where warm waters halt. And I think it's that word riches, because it makes you look at that line, hint of riches, new and old, in a different way. That's my theory. Anyway.
I like it. I like it. How many hints in the
poem, and are they in order?
And are they in order?
That's a good question. How many hints, not clues, how many hints are in the poem, and are they in order? Well, there's one, because guess what? He said hint of riches, new and old. That's one hint, right? There is at least one. Now in stanza 5 and 6, I don't know if those are.
Do you remember when I asked him how many hints are in
Thrill the Chase, or no?
No, it wasn't and he was like, did you say hint or hint?
You want me to say it? I know exactly what it is. You want me to say it?
No, we should wait for the clip, because if we say it wrong, then they want to hear.
I know exactly what it was. He's making a joke, but I'll say it if you want to.
The only way you know he's making a joke is to hear it from him.
Okay. All right. There you go, everybody. Cliffhanger.
Okay. Okay. So we're at the 45-minute mark. So this is where we're going to talk about all other things. Still kind of content related. We did a poker tournament this week. For those of you that don't know, Forrest Fenn won. The name handle Forrest Fenn won out of the about 100 people. that were in the poker tournament.
Forrest Fenn won the Searcher poker tournament. Isn't that funny?
Yes, and it was not.
He's not contacted me yet. Forrest Fenn, if you're listening from the Forrest Fenn from the poker tournament, that is, you need to email me your address so I can send you coin number 25.
Yeah. So during that time, and there was lots and lots of poker tournaments. They were called just for fun. I think there was one almost every night, went into the wee hours. I didn't sit in on all of them, but I'll tell you, it was a blast. Here's the things that we found out that worked well and things that we're changing. One is we're going to take a break from all of that time, and we're going to do a Saturday night at 6 o'clock. It is at the time of the church or the movies or other things going on, but it's once a week that we will have a Zoom out for everybody and just do a poker tournament. If you just want to tag up with some people, you don't have to play. You can just come in on the Zoom. There was anywhere from 6 to 20 people in the Zoom at any given time. You do not have to show your face. You don't even have to be
nice,
playing.
Mark. Nice. Well, yeah. In other words, Mark's saying if he doesn't claim it within a week, well, then can I get it? So what we'll probably do, well, let's just wait and see if he claims it.
No,
if
and I
doesn't. Go ahead.
I've already talked to Nemo about that. You and I need to talk offline.
Okay, we'll figure out what we're gonna do.
Yeah. So at this point, so we're going to start just doing an every Saturday. That's for everybody. Those of you that are really into poker, or if you're bored, Nemo's going to set up a bunch of tournaments throughout the week. If you want to buy into them and get on Zoom and chit chat with people, all the better. The people that don't want to, you don't have to. This is kind of a coronavirus free. You just want to go and bump into some people. Paper towns came up during that time, which I thought was really interesting. A lot of people had searcher talk. It was really, really fun to hear different perspectives. Anywhere from noon to, Mike and I left the Zoom on and just handed it off to somebody that we knew in the chat. The one Zoom went for over 24 hours because somebody played all throughout, and we can set those up. So those are going to be there, but just know every Saturday night until coronavirus is over, which is, 17 years from now, we will have a poker tournament and an accompanying Zoom that we'll be able to chit chat with. We're going to post that when the Zoom is live. We're going to post that on the Grand Adventure on Facebook, on Thor, and Mike, if we can make a community page for our YouTube, those are the 3 places that we will place it so people can just click in and be a part of the fun. We're not too concerned if somebody gets in and gets rowdy. We can.
Do I need to do something? What'd you just say? Do I need to do
the
something?
community page? If we have a community page, or I don't know how to do that. If you can show me how to do it
On Poker Stars?
on YouTube.
Oh yeah, yes, we do have a community page. Yeah. Okay, sorry. I was trying to look up the definition of riches so people could see it on the way out. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. People are going 17 years. No, I didn't mean to. It just feels like 17 years. Okay. So that's the first thing. One of the things that were said in there was about paper towns. A lot of people didn't watch yesterday because they weren't that much into poker. So Saturday. So one of the things that was given up and said to a bunch of searchers, and we all looked it up and we agree, is, Mike, do you want to walk through it? What is a paper town?
Oh, okay. Paper town. Boom. Yeah, something very interesting. Apparently, when a maker creates a map, they add a paper town to it, which is the name of a place that does not exist. And the reason they do that is for copyright protection. So if somebody else copies their map and the person tries to say, no, we didn't, they can say, look, you used this non-existent name that only we used to know about. It's on your map. Therefore, you copied it from us. You're in violation of a copyright. And I've never heard of that before. I did not know the term paper town before.
Yep. And I looked it up and it's true. And then somebody else said, well, wouldn't that mean if you find the good map, GOODE, which is a map manufacturer, and you found the paper town within it in the right area, boom, there's where the treasure chest is.
Yeah, I have no idea about that, but it is. I would wonder. I should reach out to Benchmark and ask them. The map in Too Far to Walk, is there in fact a paper town on that map? Did they add a name that does not exist? And if so, has anybody found it? Has anybody been like, hey, this isn't a real place on the map? That's just interesting. It's just something common that map makers do. Apparently, I just never heard about it before.
I just think it's fun when something is common. Would you consider that specialized knowledge? I wouldn't. I mean, it's kind of interesting.
Right.
But it's not commonly known. There you go. in case you didn't have that little factoid in your mind, wait till your next trivia game and throw that out there. How do map manufacturers protect the copyrights of their maps?
There you go. Paper Town.
Maps.
All right, guys. So what do you think? And, you know, the YouTubers out there, make a video and let me know what you think of the concept of the word riches being the word that is key. It helps you more than the others because it lets you know that the hint of new and old is about where warm waters halt. Yeah, I'm interested in what people
Oh,
think.
what about the old map in TTOTC? It could be that one.
The old New Mexico map. Yeah.
There are
Did they
rabbit
do it back
holes
then?
abound.
I wonder when it started. I wonder when the use of paper towns started. That's another question. Yeah, we have to look.
Mike, I don't know if that person wants to be identified. I'm sure they don't care, but I don't think they're in the chat tonight. But it was someone in the chat that was playing in the poker.
I said it earlier. I said it without you saying. I don't know if they want to know. So
okay,
I don't know if it matters, but
Mike did.
If you watch this in the beginning, I actually said who it was. It's not a big deal. It's just an interesting thing about maps.
Yeah, and I just didn't know, so I don't know. I'm just being a little bit more conservative because of that. Because when you use someone's name. And that's going to be our discussion Thursday. So let's talk about Thursday.
Yes,
don't know what
you're up. DS 1980 says, I don't think riches is a key word. And that's very fair. You don't have to think riches is a key word. But I will say in my defense, the word riches as applied helps you with War Warm Waters Halt. At least it helps you with a clue. All these other people that say this is the key word, it doesn't help. I don't understand how that key word helps you with the clues in the poem. At least riches can help you with War Warm Waters Halt, if in fact that hint is about the location. So, okay, go ahead.
I like this. The next talk show is going to be, quote, late night Zoom with Nemo in USA, China.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, so know that about poker, but there's going to be lots. I think Nemo's going to set up, Nemo and Sam are going to set up a bunch of different tournaments. So if you want to come in and join, I mean, I think there's been a poker tournament that goes until at least 5 a.m. every night this week. 5 a.m. in the morning. No, I shouldn't say night. People pop in, they pop out. They have, right when I get knocked out, I like to get back in. If I'm not back in, I'm out of there. So they start some back to back and all of that. So,
Carrie Galloway says, I'm just going through the chat while you're talking about the other stuff. The reason you guys are wrong is the key word only gives you the first clue. Many searchers have solved the first two clues. So how can it be the key word? Well, if I understand what you're trying to say, Carrie, Forrest has said, somebody has asked them, I think the quote was, how many pictures have solved the first clue, the first two clues? I don't remember exactly what he said, but I do believe he said many, but they didn't know it. The problem is nobody right now can tell me I know where warm waters halt without question because you don't have the treasure chest. So you don't know where you think you know where warm waters halt. You know what I mean? Do you understand the difference? Nobody knows that they know where warm waters halt until you find the treasure chest. So you're trying to say that the keyword's wrong because it only gives you the first clue. And how can that be if many searchers have solved the first two clues? Well, you have to figure out where warm waters halt. Maybe somebody did that by random chance. Look at Cynthia, Stephanie, Justin, these people that have over 500 boots on the ground. They probably have been to where warm waters halt. They probably solved it if you want to consider that solving it. They don't know where it is, but they've been there. So when Forrest says, sure, many people have solved it, that means a lot of people have been there. I don't think that means they've solved it, that they know where they were at, that they know that that's the one. So that's just my opinion. All right, go ahead. Oh, we got another super chat from Heavy Loads. What's the topic of the next show, please? We were just talking about that, weren't you, for Thursday?
Yes, but I wanted you to have.
Maybe he was telling me to shut up. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I think you were finishing your statement. Heavy Loads just wanted to make sure I didn't forget. So if Justin's able to come on, we haven't talked to him. It looks like he's getting called into work. For some of us, work is more busy than less busy. My goodness. If not, we're going to have Cynthia on. The first thing that she is definitely going to talk about is she was called out in another tuber's channel by name that she confirmed the 10-footer. I actually, when this blew up on Facebook, Stephanie came on and said, because I called Cynthia and she's like, didn't happen, maybe 200. And she can look back on emails and things, but never 10 foot did Forrest confirm anything with her. So Stephanie did come back and say she was very graceful. I give her credit. She said, I thought it was Cynthia, and I went through a bunch of my emails and I can't find who said it, but some searcher told her that Forrest told them that she was the 10-footer. Well, that's different than saying Cynthia Meacham, because quite honestly, if Cynthia Meacham says something, this is my opinion, I personally believe it. So I did ask the tuber, Did you verify any of this? And that tuber did not believe it's their responsibility to verify she just repeated what Stephanie had put. Stephanie did not say whether she put that. She just said, I went back through my email. Maybe it wasn't Cynthia, it was someone. Well, when you call someone out, now Cynthia will come on and just set the record straight. Level the playing field, whatever the right terminology is.
So that'll be Cynthia will be on the show, and yeah, we'll level the playing field. And I'd like to know what Cynthia thinks of riches as the key word, if she thinks that's helpful or not. Flip side says, we keep looking at the words in the poem as a linear set of instructions, but it is the deciphered answers that then must be followed. If by deciphered answers, you mean answering the question of where warm waters halt as a geographic location on a map, I agree with that. If you mean deciphered, like try the wheel, deciphered as in a code, I no longer agree with that. I don't think Forrest is making codes.
But I think it is linear because I think he said it's consecutive, contiguous, all the.
It is linear, meaning you go from point A to B to C. Okay, all the way to J, which is letter 9.
Mike Wood says in super chat,
thanks.
Just remember the poem and the chase is all about love. It brought love into my life.
If I were French, I'd say merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup, French, the people of love, whatever. Thank you for the super chat. We appreciate it. The poems and chase is all about fun. If you're not having fun, you're doing something wrong. So make sure you have fun.
And that Richard McKeever said, didn't Forrest say, and I think Richard actually got blocked for saying this horrible thing. Didn't he say, how could you be within 12 feet and not see the treasure? Yes, he did. It was a very fair set of feedback. Unfortunately, I think feedback is very hard to get. I get it all the time on the channel. You have to be pretty thick-skinned. When you ask for people's opinion, you actually do get people's opinion. And I'm sorry that you got caught up in the controversy there, Richard. I don't want anybody to see the negative side, but some people are ready for feedback and some people aren't.
World Famous Gamer, and I think this is something a couple people are talking about, says, Forrest said several people solved the first 2 clues. What does that mean? Okay, several people have solved the first 2 clues. What does that mean to you, World Famous Gamer, and everybody else? That means somebody went physically to the first 2 clues. Doesn't mean they knew that they solved it. You get it? Somebody emailed Forrest and said, I went here. And Forrest, scanning the email for his keyword, said, oh, yeah, they were actually in the right spot. They were at the spot of the first 2 clues. If that's where warm waters halt in the canyon, you have to decide what the first 2 clues are for you. That doesn't mean they realized that it was them. Does that make sense? Me and Kpro went to Rumball Creek. If that's where warm waters halt, guess what? Me and Kpro solved the first clue. No, we didn't. We just happened to go to where the first clue starts. There's a difference there. The people that solved it, they don't know they solved it. I'm sure there's 100,000 people that think they solved it, but nobody knows for sure that they solved it.
And half of them are in chat.
You cannot call World Famous Gamer because we don't have time. So, but we will do another show and you can call that. You are in the wood. Exactly. All right. So Michael O'Connell says, I bet a lot of people went to the first 2 clues before 2014. I mean, if the first clue is Madison Junction, 10,000 people have solved the first clue, right? Because 10,000 searchers have been to Madison Junction. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you can't tell me that you know for sure Madison Junction is where warm waters halt. Ojo Caliente. If Ojo Caliente is where warm waters halt, how many people have been to Ojo Caliente? You know what I mean?
Oh, Indy's going to come after you now. You said no to Madison Junction?
It's not. Where warm waters halt is not Madison Junction because Forrest said several have solved the first 2 clues.
I don't.
Several, meaning wherever this location is, only several searchers have been there that have emailed Forrest out of how many? 300,000? 100,000?
Well, let me play devil's advocate.
Which is
so
less
says
than
you
in there. Yeah.
So says you, and you don't have the treasure chest.
That's exactly true. Yeah, that's exactly right. Who am I? I'm just a guy on YouTube. I don't know what I'm talking about. But it's all a thought process that we all have fun doing, especially now because we're home.
Coronavirus!
That's especially now because we're all stuck at home. Wanting to go boots on the ground. I want to go boots on the ground. I want to figure out what warm waters in the Rocky Mountains are new and old. And when I figure that out, me and Kpro are going. Shouldn't know it yet, but we're actually going because I think
we're going. We're going. I already have, thank you to the searcher. We already have a cabin lined up in Wyoming. So we just need to get up there.
So Cynthia, when you're on Thursday, think about out of all the warm waters halt that you've been to, do any of them fit the bill for new and old? The hint is that the water is new and old somehow. What's the oldest hot spring? What's the oldest water source? And then new, how it was it renamed? Was it, there's something there that we're supposed to figure out about new and old, but at least it gives us a starting point instead of randomly trying to look at every hot spring in the world. It gives us something to narrow down the search. And that's what I think the hint of new and old.
Okay, there's a couple things. I won't get too ornery, but I see a name I haven't seen in a while. Chris Yates. I haven't seen you comment in a while, and just
Who?
want to say, hey, Chris Yates, back from Chase Chat Days.
Oh yeah, Chris Yates. Yeah.
And then Godolphin says, but only one knows what they're looking at. No, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds believe they know what they're looking at. Flip side says, have a nice vacation. And I guarantee this. I'm going to 100%, and I will pay all of you $1 million if this happens. If Mike and I go out, we will be confident, I hope. And when we get there and we don't find it, we will not blame Forrest Fenn. We will not say this is a hoax. And we will not say that he came and took it and re-hit it like the recent video. We won't say he didn't allow us to go out there. We're not going to do any of that. We are just going to say, damn, that was a good vacation.
Right. So World Famous Gamer was like, well, can I call? You can call and leave a message. I just put the phone number in the chat. Anybody can call and leave a voicemail or text. You can text that number too, and I will get it. But I'm just not going to take it on the air right now, live. That's all. But you can call, leave a message. Anybody at any time can call and leave a message or a text message. And people do, trust me. They do it all the time. So therefore said, several have solved the first 2 clues, but they went right past the other 7. So there's something going on between Dan and down.
I don't think he said 7, did he?
Well, maybe not. The other clues.
Yeah, the others. Yeah.
Okay. But, you know, maybe we're not realizing what the home of Brown is. But you can't even get to that point in the poem until you figure out warm
I
water.
had such a good discussion about that. It has to be Homer Brown that they didn't. Here's what I think it was in one of the poker chats.
Yeah.
It has to be Homer Brown because that's the next concrete one. And they think that they went past it, and it has to be something that's more general. And they went to like the structure or something, and they went past
Maybe. So 3D Bronze points out that Forrest says, no, many people have found the first clue, but they didn't know it. Until someone finds the treasure, they will not know for sure that they have discovered the first clue.
Boom.
And that was my point earlier. Just because you're saying Forrest has said many people have found it, they didn't know it. So they haven't solved anything, Carrie Galloway. I believe that's who that was. Yeah. Anyway.
There you go. So,
Sassafras says there's another very important piece of information that you got wrong and blew right by. Well, Sassafras, you come on the Zoom in the next poker tournament and let's talk about it.
No. Sassafras will say that, and I love you, Sassafras, because I know who you are. But then we'll say, but I can't tell you. It would be too much of a clue.
No,
I can say it, but I can tell you you're wrong, but I can't tell you why. It would give away. And I love you, Sassafras, but no, you're one. At least we're throwing something out there.
So Larry Smith says, why has no one found the mythical WWWH in 10 years of hunting? Now I'm going to flip it on you. They have, but they couldn't put together the other clues, so they didn't know it was the correct one. But that's kind of enlightening or heartening is that people have been there. It's just they don't realize that they were at the right one, right?
Exactly.
So it's not impossible, like Forrest says. It's hard, but not impossible. Difficult, but not impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of the riddle of the poem. Where do warm waters halt? That's the whole trick of it. But that's another show as far as if I know I'm in the right spot, how far do I walk and how do I put the other clues?
Well, the big thing I wanted to take away is some of these things were discussed during Poker Zoom. Some people weren't even playing poker. They were just on the Zoom. So if you're bored, we're not going to get quite, what was that Jim Carrey show? Truman Show. We're not going to get Truman Show, but there was a lot of search discussion this week. And if you want to play some poker doing it, they're going to be you'll get the announcements of all the different ones. Or you can just hit one of us up and we'll tell you if there's something going on. But just sign in, see if there's a tournament going on. I guarantee there'll even be one tonight.
That's right. Well, Watto Man says many people have come within 500 feet of the treasure. That's true, but they don't know where that is. They didn't know they were within 500 feet of the treasure, so it doesn't help, is what I'm trying to say. So because I went to Ojo Caliente, I was within 500 feet of the treasure. That doesn't help. You know what I mean? People have been everywhere. We don't know where that 500 feet is. So, yeah.
Yep. Okay. Well, that's what we have. We're keeping on track for an hour tonight because lots of things happening. So
Logan Pettyjohn. There's a new name. He brings up a good point. Cowlazars, have you identified any hints in the book that relate to where warm waters halt? Think about it. If the hint is new and old in the poem, hint of riches, new and old. Maybe the new and old is in the thrill of the chase that we're supposed to look at.
Well,
maybe in the poem, he's giving us a hint to the subtle hint that's in the Thrill of the Chase. Wouldn't that be interesting? And that doesn't break any rules of things he said, has it? I
and
don't think
RC, we went over the reason for the thumbnail, and Mike thought at the beginning it was related to tonight's discussion. He did confirm from Forrest it's not. The thumbnail is going to be changed very quickly. So
Yeah.
that was the reason
switch
for the thumbnail, and now we changed it up a little bit.
So, and Watto Man says, note that he said people, not searchers. There you go. People have been within 500 feet. There you go. That's true. That's a good distinction to make as well.
There you go.
If there is a overlook of for visitors, tourists to look at something, that could be within 500 feet. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I like the idea of the first stanza, get you to WWWH. It needs to be the noun riches, and relating to the noun riches is new and old. Riches, by definition, I'm just summarizing here, by definition, well, look up the definition, because it's not only material wealth, but it's valuable natural resources, and the example is actually water that is referred there. So rich is new and old. If you're WWWH, something that kind of help you focus in new and old, something new and old should relate to your WWWH.
If I were Danish, I'd say manga tot.
Danish? I thought that was Donkashane. What's Donkashane? Thank you, Godelkin, for that super chat. 901, he keeps saying 901's a clue. The place where the treasure chest is hidden could not be found between 2011 to 2014. Well, that goes against what Forrest has said. He said the poem will lead you right to it. So why could it not be found? Yeah. All right. But hey, thanks for the super chat and thanks for putting that out there. So, okay, I think that's it. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. That is the word that is key. I know everybody has a million different opinions, but email me. Let me know what you think. Cowlazars@gmail.com. Cynthia will be on Thursday's show. I want her to let us know. She'll clarify a couple things that have been said, but I'd like her opinion on this. The hint of riches new and old is about where warm waters halt. And is that it, Kpro? What do you think?
That's it. If you're on, I saw USA China was in here. They're probably going to be a poker game tonight. Get signed up on that. I helped a lot of people through it. It's absolutely free. Just bring a smile and have a good time. And probably the best time everybody has is giving me a hard time, but it's only because I take their chips from them. And I'm sorry for that, except for 9 clues and Copper, not Copper Dan, Copper Dave. They knocked me out of a lot of tournaments. So I'm refining my game, babies. I'm going through the master class of Daniel Negreanu right now, and I'm using it in the poker room. So you want to come and knock me out? Come and knock me out. We'll have some fun. I do not stay up late, though. I'm still working. I'm still homeschooling. I'm a hair cutter. Everybody knows. I cut hair by day. I'm a poker player by night.
You mentioned my haircut in the chat today. I will say, Jack says no clip. Maybe there'll be a clip Thursday, but I'm not promising anything. I got to talk to Kpro about what that clip would be. So we're not making any promises, but maybe. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the thumbs up. Share the video. And you guys that make videos, make a video and let me know what you think. If you think I'm wrong or if you think I could be right, make a video and tag us in it. Tag Cowlazars, tag Kpro. That way we'll be able to check it out, or just email it to us. That would work too.
And we don't have the Zoom set up yet because I don't know when the game is set up. But right when it is, We'll put it on YouTube. We'll put it on Hint of Riches. And we'll put it on Grand Adventure. That is a safe place. That is a safe place to be. Come to the Grand Adventure where it's a safe place.
Thanks, Michael O'Connell. Appreciate it. Okay, everybody, that's it. We will be back Thursday, but join Poker Stars. The Zoom that we have up that is not going on YouTube. It's just a Zoom. There's searcher talk in there while we're playing poker. Poker and searcher discussion. So maybe we'll talk about Hint of Riches.
And some of us might have a drink in hand. How can you beat that?
Coffee, popcorn, beer, whatever. You make what you make. All right, everybody. We'll see you on Thursday.
Bye.
Kpro Cow Powwow. Kpro Cow Powwow. Wow. It's the Kpro Cow Powwow. Wow.
Coronavirus.
They want to find the treasure. They want to find it now. They are Kpro and they are Cow. They're going over it and over it and over it again. This treasure hunt created by Forrest Fenn. Sing it. Kpro Cow Powwow. Kpro Cow Powwow. Wow. It's the Kpro Cow Podcast.